It's the Full Force News Burst, proudly brought to you by Battle Action Force, the Treasury editions. I am your host, Christopher McLeod, aka Diagnostic A.T. Now let's get into the news. Hi, how is it going? Can you guys hear me? I've got a feeling the audio is not working. Bear with me 2 seconds. Oh, why does this always happen? Can you guys hear me in the chat? Am I going to have to do some sort of cancellation? I'm plenty loud. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, all of the tech is absolutely going mad today. I'm so sorry. My laptop has been an absolute pain. Okay, I'll continue on. The last thing I want to do right now is cancel the stream, right? I didn't do that as a bit, I swear. I am genuinely having issues. But as long as everyone is cool. Okay, cool. Everyone says everything's good. Brilliant. Lovely stuff. I did notice a couple of interesting comments at the beginning before I went live as well, which was quite funny. Studio Hen said, "Oh man, this news burst is going to get cancelled too, right?" And Steve Martin said, "Yeah, but we can still pre-order our We Love Full Force comparative plate sets. Pre-orders to follow." Just kidding. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. I hope everyone's doing well. Not really much to talk about tonight, is there? Nothing really happened. No issues to really discuss or get into. Everything's pretty chill. Everything was pretty smooth today. Wasn't really any issues with anything. Who am I kidding? It's been a weird one, hasn't it? It's been a weird one today. Hope everyone's having a good day despite the absolute, what would we call it? Like absolute cluster fudge of everything that kicked off today. It was kind of weird. Not gonna lie, it was a weird one. We all expected, a fan stream. That didn't quite happen. Then we didn't even expect pre-orders at one point, and then pre-orders appeared. Bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Anyway, yeah, you're right. What's to worry about? We still got pre-orders, and we still got some cool stuff to talk about. So let's get into it. But yeah, it's been a funny one, hasn't it? And I'm going to be getting into it right now. Interesting. Can you hear the videos when they play? Just out of interest, because everything's gone weird right now for me. In any case, I apologize if there is any audio problems or issues. Yes, Yojoe June week 2. I had to change that about 8 times. Now, last night we had a number of leaked images, right? We had pre-order images, kind of like promo images for the Sergeant Mercer, a couple of random ones because I didn't expect to see the retro bat or retro green shirt, and then the Legacy police officer or emergency, I forgot what they call it now, but emergency something unit. I can't remember. ESU. I can't remember. Anyway, we had those sort of we had all of it revealed last week in render form, and I have to admit, I was surprised they were going to go that route, but they did. Fair enough, cool. But then, it's been heating up a little bit. I'll just put this on screen at the moment. This is the post that we got early doors this morning, literally well past the actual time it should have been up. The event was cancelled on Facebook, and a few people messaged me to say, "Hey, is the fan stream cancelled?" And I was like, "No, that can't be the case. I'm sure it'll still happen. It'll just be like an error or something or a mistake. No biggie. These things happen." No, it was full on, actually a cancelled event, or postponed, as they're saying. Now, I was kind of a bit surprised. Bear with me 2 seconds, sorry, as I have another new audio issue happening where I'm getting myself repeating. Bear with me. How about now? Good. Okay. I need to fix what's going on here. Now, we had this sort of like comment or this information come out to say we are postponing this week's Yojoe June fan stream. Thank you to our fans, partners, continued support. We'll share more updates when we can, etc., etc. I thought fan stream cancelled. Fair enough. No pre-orders then. And I desperately was trying to reach out for information. I reached out to a number of people. I did get responses back, but for the most part, I think they were all so kind of like in the thick of things, and it was all busy and kicking off at that time. So they, it's not like they could drop everything and just answer my message or whatever. And I get that totally. But I was trying desperately to try and get a bit more information on what was going on, and nothing seemed to make any sense. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, we are in a position where we're probably not going to get any pre-orders today. Maybe they're going to postpone it till tomorrow, or maybe it's going to be postponed. We'll get a bit more information later. And lo and behold, it gets to 1 o'clock, and Darren Marshall, shout out if you're in the chat. A couple of other guys as well messaged me to say pre-orders are up, and I was like, what? Check the link, didn't see anything. I'm like, not on my end. Check it again. There they are. And we had, your Ore Striker, we had Sergeant the Mercer 2-pack, and we had the retro green shirt and the retro bat. And it sort of became pretty evident, again, it's speculative, but it's pretty obvious, isn't it, that they cancelled the fan stream, probably due to the fact that the legacy police officer may have caused a bit of controversy. Fair enough. It seems to have lit the internet up, by the way. I've just not been able to keep up with all of the comments, messages, everything. It's been crazy today, absolutely crazy. And I've been literally under the cosh today, like this stuff, like the fun full force stuff has definitely taken a second place today. I've had to do loads of lots of stuff been going on, so it was difficult for me to even like keep up with what was happening. And then pre-orders go up, and it's like, okay. Now the night before, we obviously did get these oh great, now that's not working. What is going on today? I swear nothing is working. Like, anyway, forget it. You don't need to know the ins and outs, but nothing is working for me today at all. I don't know why, it just is. So yes, this emergency service unit, that was it. Now these images were leaked, and that like 2 a.m, I think I woke up and I saw them, so shared them and thinking we were going to see this the next day. And I think I have to say at this point, I'm very surprised that if there was any hint of issue, that it took them this long to make that decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was a little bit surprising if the decision was to, not go with this. Why was it done at the very, very last minute? That seems a little bit crazy to me. It's not like this has been a hidden sort of like, I don't know, but it was surprising, to say the least. I think it would have been better if they, had maybe pulled the plug a little bit earlier, considering it's not, like if it is related to this, and which I mean, is speculative, but it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Then why even do it in the first place is a good question to start with there, isn't it? In any case, we got some pictures of it, and it's really cool. It's a really cool figure. I'm not gonna. It's an awesome figure, but at the same time, I get the sensitivity at this moment. I get the sensitivity at the moment, so I understand from some perspective, but I think getting to this point, and then thinking about it is the mistake that's been made here. So in any case, we did get some leaked images of this figure. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I just don't. Like, at this point, I assume it's just going to get pushed. But I don't know if that's going to change anything. Like, is it going to change anything? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like no matter when they bring it out at this point, it kind of has the at this stage, you kind of, is this figure going to be lost in the ether a little bit? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Is the answer. I just don't know. I don't know. It's been crazy. It's been, it's a shame that any of this is happening at all. It's a shame that we're in a situation where there are these controversies and these kind of like, issues, and it sucks. But that's it. That's the situation we're dealing with. And now the point we're at is that this figure probably is not going to be popping up just yet. So I expect to maybe, I don't know, maybe see it in the future. I don't know. Who knows? Is it gonna be one of the cancelled ones? What's crazy is just the amount of like images that are out there of this right now as well. Like it just becomes something beyond that, doesn't it? In any case, I am exhausted, and I just want to move on and enjoy the rest of this. So we're going to move on from the legacy uh, emergency unit or whatever it's called, and we're going to shift into the other actual pre-orders that popped up. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with everything. Don't have a clue what's going to happen. If it's going to be pushed later, not a clue. So you can ask the question, but I'm not going to be able to answer it for you. I'm sorry. I didn't even know the Retro Bat and Retro Green Shirt were popping up for pre-order. Maybe they were put in as sort of like a buffer, and then they decided to I don't know. It just seems everything seemed very last minute. So I think, yeah, it's a shame, but here we are. Let's move on. Retro Bat. Now the thing with the Retro Bat is I'm not really crazy fussed. I'm really not that crazy fussed, honestly, with the Retro Bat. It's cool that we're getting a bat. Bats are cool and they're great, but I have like the first bat we got sort of satiated me for anything remotely classic, because it's pretty much there. I mean, this is just a redeco at the end of the day. Obviously, the red, what do you call it? The red faceplate is a nice like addition. I'm not like that fussed about the kind of like color, um what do you call it, like kind of like the laser burn and the flame burn decos necessarily. I'm not that crazy about that, to be honest. But it for those that want them, it's good to have more bats to army build, I guess. And like I said, the red faceplate is a nice touch. But I mean, that's like, it's the Malibu Stacy with a new hat situation, isn't it? I mean, that's what we are. That we are here in Malibu Stacy with a new hat scenarios with all of the figures pretty much. I'm talking about that like it's something we don't usually see very often. No, we see Malibu Stacy with a new hat all the time. We're going to see Malibu Stacy with a new hat very shortly. But focusing on the bat, one thing I do like on the on this bat release is the fact we've got the digital explosion background. I'm a sucker for the digital explosion background. For those that aren't completely au fait or aware of the UK element with that, when we got the Hasbro International Heroes rebrand in '87, so it went, Palatoy was no longer, that kind of went under in '85, and then Hasbro decided to re-release G.I. Joe for the UK market as Action Force International Heroes, and we got like this '87 wave, all sorts of figures from previous years in the US, and like a few nearly new figures, and they all basically had the digital background from day one, because obviously Hasbro had shifted from the explosion background to the digital background in their own sort of design. So I guess that had kind of just been translated over to the UK, and that's what when I'm looking at things that I really like about this particular figure: digital background on the card, the red faceplate. But for the most part, this is just going to be an obligation purchase, I think, personally. And again, I've got nothing against bats. I think they're amazing. I just feel like it's not different enough from that first one for me personally. And I know there are going to be people that don't agree with me. That's totally fine. You can disagree with me. It's absolutely fine. I'm sure there are people that want tons of bats always, and that's fine. Lenticular would have made it really cool, McMurphy. Yeah, I agree with that. I think a lenticular would have been pretty dope on the old chest there. I'm ready for V2 bat as well, Parson Scott. 100%. Agree with you on that one. I think the V2 bat is definitely, um, you know, past due, honestly. Um, Anyway, lots of images, not loads of like crazy dio images, like none, but we have got some posed images. I will also say that we can thank Corey, the photographer at Hasbro, for the promo images for all of the promo images we've seen today. So Corey did all of those. Matt reached out, Matt Cohen, Shooting the Galaxy, reached out to let me know that. So massive shout out to Corey for all of these images, including, like I said, Sergeant Mercer. I think technically the legacy police officer as well, but that's not official, is it? Obviously, and the Ore Striker, which I'm leaving till last because hot diggity dumplings. I'm excited about that. Right. Anyway, moving on with the bat, we've got lots of different poses showing off those blast effects as well. Which look cool. You know, that's a nice little addition to this particular bat as well. I didn't really mention that before, actually. I should have done, shouldn't I? That is something that is new to this bat, blast effects. So that's another element as to why this might be one that you might want to pick up. For me, like I said, I'm just going to get one of these, and it'll probably be sort of like the semi-infantry squad leader for the regular bats. Do you know what I'm saying? Hot diggity dumplings is just a stupid phrase, Sean, that comes out of my mouth every now and again when I'm not controlling my brain properly. Even though I loved mine as a kid, I'm weary of bats. Bat overdose, says Blitz. Possibly. There might be a bit of OD going on here with the bats. But again, here's more of those blast effects in use. I love that shot on the right of kind of doing like a wibbly sort of just been hit, maybe in the head. That's where the damage is there on the head. And it's taking out the servos and it's just going kind of crazy. Also, just looks like it's dancing. It looks like any character in a Sunbow episode that's dancing at any point. They always look like that when they dance, don't they? And there's that music that's always like it's always like really it's like the same music they would use whenever they go into a club or something like that. It's used in like Joe's Night Out. It's used in Pyramid of Darkness, I want to say, when they go into the into that kind of bar where Satin, I think, is performing. It's just that really funny sort of like jazzy. Anyway, that's what I think that bat's dancing to, basically. Anyway, and then we have more images again of the bat, just in case you've never seen a bat before. Also, shout out to Travis Moody of A Toy Kind of Mood. I completely and unprofessionally forgot to shout him out on the last weekly for his video review on the retro bat with loads of comparison. He sent loads of pictures as well for me to post, and I just, being the airhead that I am, haven't posted them. So my apologies. Shout out to Travis. Shout out to A Toy Kind of Mood, and go check out that review as well. And then we have, so that's the bat. Then we have the green shirt, or the G.I. Joe Trooper, as it's stated on the box. I thought you were doing the theme to Seinfeld, says Sean. Sort of similar. It's not all bass, but it's got like electric guitar. Like, it's just hilarious. You know what I'm talking about. Bat Hoedown, yes, Blitz. It does look a little bit like that. Twisted says, "Oh, are we having issues with the not a robot thing on the website? Firefly's having issues with that. Well, you are a saboteur, Firefly, so yeah, that sucks. Sometimes it could just be down to like what browser you're using, and you might have to change that. It's all very specific and particular a lot of the time, isn't it? Like, you have to have, like, I mean, I use Chrome for the most part. I use the desktop, and I make sure I'm logged in and all that kind of stuff. And I usually don't have any issues, but I know when you're using the app, there can be issues, which sucks. Anyway, green shirt, I've got to say, I am really digging. Obviously, we saw a lot of like leaked image, like kind of pre-production first shot sort of kind of parts, kind of like flooding the market a little bit, flooding the internet image-wise, courtesy of, I believe, probably it's either Nathan Camazel, Shaw Lu, or oh my goodness, I'm forgetting all the names of the people that always share those images. Anyway, my bad. If I've missed one out, I apologize. But we saw a lot of green shirt or Yojoe Trooper parts pop up, and the whole figure at one point as well. Um, and I thought, yeah, it's all right, it's okay. I think seeing it on on card and all that kind of stuff, we're still in that like I've got to say we're still in that kind of like not quite sure artwork phase. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got the right amount of fingers, but I'm just not sure if I'm like completely vibing with this sort of the way they're all lit. I have an issue with, and it seems to be the same from the wave that was revealed most recently. Not so much, like Televiper, Covergirl, and Flint obviously had some issues here. These two have issues. I want to say Dr. Mindbender. Hang on, Rock and Roll I have here, and I'll check that one out. Yeah, I've got Rock and Roll. Similar sort of thing with Rock and Roll. That kind of really dark sort of like lighting on the front, as if to suggest that the explosion at the back is sucking all the light in the area and they're not being lit from the front as much. But I definitely feel like on the old the vintage kind of card art, there was always a very clear it was always very clear on the front. You could see what was going on. You could see all the details of the figure, basically, of the character of the artwork. But with these most recent retro ones, they've all got this like super dark texture to them, which I'm not a massive fan of. I've got to say, I'm not a massive fan of that. I kind of wish I'm hoping that changes a little bit, going forward, and especially after that sort of like bit of I won't say controversy, but everyone just assuming it was AI. I don't think that was the case. I think it was just not great, is what I'd say on that one. I think that I'm most disappointed with the Flint artwork for sure. But in any case, it's not that bad. Like this artwork is not bad. I just don't like that the lighting, like making things like specifically very difficult to see. Personally, maybe because I'm getting older and I need it a lot brighter. I've just literally increased the brightness on my screen as well, just in case I was incorrect about this point. But no. Anyway, the figure looks good. Again, it's very simple. We're not really talking anything crazy here. We've got new head sculpts, of course. We've got I don't think is that a new web gear. I can't remember. It looks like we've already had that web gear, but I can't remember whose it is. Can someone just let me know in the comments whose web gear that is on this figure? I know mainly it's reuse. I totally understand that. But I like it. I like the kind of idea here. We've now got kind of steel core and we've got green shirts. And again, this is a nod to the Sunbow series through Classified's eyes. That's how I see all of these things, basically. Stalker's web gear, Retro Cobra web gear. Quite loads of people are saying all sorts of different things. It's not Stalker's, apparently. It's a modified Stalker web gear with a center buckle added. Thank you, Jeremy. So it's a retool. So technically it's new, sort of. But yeah, it's a retool. That's cool. I thought I recognized the knife and the gas grenade thing. But yeah, it's got that added chest strap in the middle. So yeah, this is a retool, which is nice, isn't it? Nice to get something slightly new, even if it is just working off the back of something else, which is effectively, I just described our channel, haven't I? Okay, so green shirt, I'm here for it, and I think I'm here for it based on some of these poses, honestly. But yeah, cool. We've got the Sunbow rifle. We've got the I think Stalker's. Yeah, we've got Duke's and Stalker's rifle as well. The knife, the pistol. Is that knife? That ain't a knife. It is a knife. Is that knife for the holster on the thigh? Yes, it is. And then he's got another knife in the holster on the web gear. Is that removable? I can't tell. I don't think it is it? And I've gone too far. I've gone too far. I can't tell if it is or not, and I can't remember if it is. But if it's not, it's no biggie. He's got a knife anyway. But anyway, I like these poses. I like I like what they've done with this particular figure. Again, what can you do? What can you do? It is pretty straightforward, isn't it? But again, I like the options here for different characters and what have you. Love it. Any movie news, vid game news? Asks Somar. Not today. I'm hoping for more. Genuinely. Oh, is it Retro Snake Eyes? Says Boba Fett Gaming. I don't know. Oh, you mean the rifle? Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I think I can't remember. I'm too tired to even concentrate right now. And of course, we have the different skin tone for the head, neck, and hands as well. If you want to mix it up a little bit, this is definitely going to be one of those ones where you need a couple of these minimum, isn't it? Sorry, I'm getting like tons and tons of messages, and I cannot. Adam's watching the show. Shout out to Adam. How have you not seen my Stay Fresh Cheese Bags hat yet? He's like, I did, and I'm responding to you now in vocal form on screen, Adam. That's hilarious, though, mate. And oh, is there an ore strike? A bit of information. Oh, okay. I'll thank you, Jeremy. I will talk about that in a second. Right then. So anyway, there you go. Green shirt. Like I said, I think this is one of those ones we're going to need a couple just to get the two looks out. How many? Actually, let me know in the comments. How many did you guys get, please? And thank you. I would like to know. 6, Blitz says. Nice one. Nice one. I haven't even checked. Oh my goodness, Paul. 15. Any reason you stopped at 15? 2 for Pass, 3 for Chucky Tinderbin, one of my favorite names ever that I told you about. Chucky, let's face it. 2 for Scott, 3 for the real Zim, 0 for Brian King. I love that. I was waiting for someone to do that, Brian. Thank you. Please retire the Stalker Duke submachine gun, says Squishy. It's not my choice, my decision, but fair point on that one. 2 for me, says Joe. 3 says Leon. Jason says, I'm so happy this guy doesn't have sweater cuffs. Cool. 3 for Steve. 2 for Red Walrus. Just 2 for Red Walrus. I ordered 2, but I'll get more if they ever drop in price, says Studio Henge. Not a bad shout. That's not a bad way to... That's like a responsible way to army build. Not like Paul, who got 15. 0 for Diecast Nick. 2 Ore Strikers, 1 Bat, 1 Green Shirt, says G.I. Joe Shorty, it's your birthday. 2 for Joe. 2 for Profit. 2 for Wilfredo. 2 of everything for Frank. I'm good with 1, says Checkpoint. 0 Flaming Crow. Okay, cool. Look, so, you know, it's a mixture, but most people are getting multiples by the look of it. Brilliant. Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you getting back to me so quickly. Andrew Law, 0. 6 for Mark P. 3 for Jeremy. 5 for Roger. Roger, you absolute beast. 2 for Cobra Joe, 7. 1 for Derek. 0 for Flaming Crow. 2 for Gomez. Right, I'll leave it now. 2 for Squishy. Thank you, guys. I'm saving my money for Cold Slither, says MIS1. And when it hits clearance, Andrew Law will be there. That sounds like the intro to the G.I. Joe theme. When it hits clearance, G.I. Joe is there. Brilliant. Okay, cool. I won't keep going on telling everyone. You can see in the comments, if you're watching the comments, anybody, what people have got. But cool. Thank you very much for letting me know. Right then. Let's go on to Sarge and Mercer. Now, we obviously knew about this for a long time because the Sarge had been showing people, I think, these promo images that we're going to be looking at in a second. I think he'd been showing them off at conventions to people. I say think, I mean, that was reported. So, yeah, he had been. He's done it in the past. Every time there's a Sarge-related product coming out of Hasbro, we all know about it shortly afterwards because the Sarge will go on his live stream and he'll reveal it. I know he revealed a Sergeant Slaughter Funko Pop ages ago, like an actual one on screen. I'm pretty sure he did that. I'm not sure if it ever came out though. It must have done. Anyway, there was that. There was the telling people about the Triple T, the crossover one. It's so funny. It's I'm here for it as well. It's a great way to find out that we're getting that we're getting a Sarge figure. Brilliant stuff. Anyway, yeah, last fall it was, wasn't it, Ryan? Yes, absolutely. So we knew this was coming. We had an idea that it was going to be this desert deco for the Sarge and a kind of standard deco for Mercer. And I couldn't quite get my head around that. I don't know why. I just struggled to think, like, why would you do that as a 2-pack? And I guess it's because you want to do the other 2 Renegades, and we've already got Sarge in multiple ways. It makes sense that you try and do something different for the Sarge. Now he's got a couple of different options. He's got like you could sort of argue he's got like the wrestling gear, which I'm not sure is a possibility for them to do. I'm not sure. It probably would be fine. The USA one with the kind of wrestling boots. I don't think it would be an issue. I don't think they own like. I think they could do that, but obviously with the one that Mattel did, it kind of maybe they don't want to kind of like ruffle feathers or cause any issues or what have you. Maybe there's something in that, but the mail away kind of USA Sarge, I think would have made sense. Yeah, but it's not like his actual WWE costume, Scott, is it? Is it? Or am I wrong there? I might be wrong. If I am, fair enough. But I kind of feel like they could probably have got away with doing something very toy like. But yeah, it sort of exists anyway, really. Now, what are you left with? The Warthog? You're left with, you could argue there's that sort of like winter jacket Sarge that was in some of those mail away product leaflets. I remember one of them. I had one of them because it was in a Canadian released pulverizer or something like that. And I remember opening that product leaflet and seeing the Sarge on it with that kind of winter jacket on it. Loved that product, that kind of, mail away product leaflet. But anyway, you could it's not a figure that exists, but you stretch to that. You've got the Warthog Sarge, but I feel like that should be kept to the side because I kind of want a Warthog. And I know people are like, it's too big. I think it could be a HasLab. And I think, just let me have that, please. Anyway, that really just leaves you with this kind of G.I. Joe convention exclusive kind of desert deco that we saw in like 2000 and whatever it was. And obviously we also had the Renegades in that, in a similar sort of deco and vibe, that kind of desert kind of 3-pack. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could see the Renegades re-released in those kind of repaints, those redecos, which kind of makes sense because there's not much else for the Renegades, is there? Like Mercer, Red Dog, and Taurus don't have a crazy amount. You could throw them into Marauders, so you could have them in like the Marauder gear because they did kind of come out in that 7-pack of Slaughter's Marauders back in the day, not crazy back in the day, like the modern 4-inch line. So you could technically do them in Marauders, but then you kind of want with certain figures and characters, if you can get 2 redecos out of it, you're probably making your money back on the tooling. To get like 2 redecos out of it. Obviously, they get quite a lot because there's a lot of reuse in certain parts. But if you're doing like a whole figure and you're just getting a redeco out of it, I kind of feel like, that's where they want to be. They want to be getting minimum 1 redeco. But if you get 2, that's, bonus round. So there's 2 options you could go with for each of. Sorry, that's a good comment from Mark P. Chris, Sergeant Slaughter is challenging you in the hat game. He's got 3 and they look good. Lol. Whereas I have 500 and they don't look good. Is that what you're saying, Mark? No, that's funny. He does have a lot of hats. Yeah, so I'll move on from this image and we'll look at the back of the packaging. So yeah, I think a lot of people are a bit concerned about the height of Mercer. Now, as Paul, shout out to Plastic Battles in the chat, did state on some of his stories on his social pages, the Sarge is taller than the Renegades, and it's shown multiple times in the movie that you see the difference in height with them all. And they're all sort of like about the same height as Falcon, aren't they, at the end of the day? They're all certainly built the same, which is insanity. They're all huge in that scene where Red Dog is helping Falcon like do chin-ups. That is unbelievable. I love that. But that said, I think looking at some of these images made me kind of a bit happier to see that Mercer isn't crazy shorter than the Sarge. We'll get to them in a second. Anyway, back of the package, we can see that the location is quite an homage here. It's the slaughterhouse. So they're at the, I think he calls it's the bivouac, basically, isn't it? I think that's where we are in this kind of desert kind of landscape. I've zoomed in the background there because you can kind of see that sort of Can you see that kind of like construction buildingy thing in the rock there? Um, I couldn't remember if that looks anything like what the bivouac looks like. The kind of like it's like a bit of a plane and like some other bits and pieces. I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at there. Do you guys know what we're looking at here in the background there, and that kind of in between the rocks? Is that just the kind of bivouac situation? Anyway, it's that's effectively what we're looking well where we are. Look, the slaughterhouse. Very nice indeed. And this I wanted to kind of highlight this because I think this is the only time we see um I think this is the only time we see the tattoo on the elbow of Mercer that we were told about, and in the render, I think, reveal with Lenny on the last fan stream that actually happened. Um, Chris, do you think the Sarge Squash has any chance of a triple T? No, not at all. Because again, there's the you could do the Warthog Sarge with the triple T. You could do the USA one we've just been talking about. You could do all sorts of different things. Really, you could make it work. I think. Um, but yeah, so this is the one time we see that kind of spider web skull with a spider on it as well. Interesting elbow tat. But again, I'm here for the tats. I know some people it's a bit of um, an acquired taste, I would say. Like some people not a fan basically of the tattoos. I know Pat isn't. Shout out to Pat. But anyway, also on the back of the packaging, we see these vipers in trouble bubbles. So not like any crazy big giveaway reveal things. Like we're not seeing some sort of like a character or something in the background as somewhere. But we are seeing some, other elements thrown in here. What makes me like genuinely, I'm not sure how you guys feel about this. Honestly, you might not give a crap. I love when they put stuff in the background of these kind of render reveals. I love it. Even if it's stuff that we already have. I kind of feel like you've got the opportunity here to really fill the environment with loads of crazy stuff going on. And I feel like if I was doing this, if I was in charge of kind of putting this stuff together, I'd probably be going a little bit more intense with it. I'd probably be putting snake armors in there, shadow tracker. Paul, thanks very much. I'd probably be putting loads of different things in the background. But from my understanding, I feel like they're probably looking at it and going, we don't want to take away too much from the actual figures. And that makes sense. That makes sense. But I do love seeing this stuff in the background. I bloody love it. Again, even if it's stuff we've already got, figures, vehicles, what have you. It doesn't always have to be something brand new that we've never seen before. It can be something kind of cool. I like it, and I want to see more of it. One of my favorite pieces of art and box packaging we've ever had is Dr. Mindbender's. The artwork on the back of that bad boy is phenomenal, one. And two, it's got the story of how, he basically raids the tombs for Serpentor's DNA. So you've got this sort of like story going on in the background. I loved it. I don't think it took away from Dr. Mindbender at all. I think it was like, obviously he was massive in the middle of it and he had a huge flexing bicep, but at the same time, lots of stuff was going on there, and it was an exclusive, which I know a lot of people will throw out as a reason why they probably did a little bit more, went a little bit extra on that one. But I love this. I love that kind of stuff. So the more the merrier for me. But I'm assuming this, and I'll probably ask them about it next time I speak to them. If that is something they do take into consideration, and they're trying to think, we want to make the figures that we're taught, the actual figures in this set, the important ones. We don't want to do too much in the background to take away from that. Fair enough. But fair, and I've just, I may have answered that question I have, but I'm going to ask it next time I speak to them, which is going to be after Yojoe June and hopefully before SDCC. And then maybe we do something after SDCC. We'll have to SDCC, won't we? That was a terrible pun. I love it. Here's the actual figures in all of the stuff they come with. But we've kind of seen all this a lot already. So let's get into the promo images. Someone did mention, actually, before I move on, they would have liked to have seen him, Mercer, with a bit of a high top or a taller high top. And I have to agree on that one. I kind of feel like he needs to have a little bit more of an elongated kind of face, a little, not like too much, but I feel like that could just be a little bit leaner and a little bit longer, and his jaw could be a little bit, I think I described it the other day as if Dolph Lundgren had Arnie and Predator's hair. So that's how I would kind of go with it personally. But even Arnie and Predator doesn't have a really huge high top. But yeah, I just think yeah, he needs to have, and I do like. I must admit, really do like the sterner face on the right hand side. Sorry, not the one where he's showing his teeth. Basically, the more kind of neutral is what I should have said. The more neutral one is the one I prefer because that does to me sing Mercer a little bit. Even big bad cobras need air conditioning, and he's right, they do. Anyway, here they are, just hanging out, looking in going in two different directions, but definitely with the same outcome in mind. There you go. And then we have all the promo shots. So shout out to Corey for all these gorgeous promo shots in the desert and at the slaughterhouse as well, may I add. Arnie's flat top in red heat is a good shout, actually, Scott. Yeah, that's a good shout. I like that. Vanilla Ice flat top, maybe not, Paul. That's a little bit tall, a little bit taller. Or was that Skilo? I wish I was a little bit taller. If you didn't get that reference, also needs a rat tail, says Todd. Let's not go that far. I did have that hair though when I was a kid. I had a rat tail and that going on, that kind of flat top. So yeah, there's still hope for Static Line's flat top. That's true, actually, Rachel. Yeah, absolutely. Sean says, so you want some kid and play style hair for him, or like Jim Carrey pretending to be Vanilla Ice? Yeah, I do. Scott says Skilo wishes his flat top was a little bit taller, and he also wishes he was a baller. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Anyway, I love these shots. Very nice. They're just hanging out. And then it starts to beef up a little bit. Vipers turn up, and I like this as well because it shows off the slight difference in Mercer's leg deco to the other Vipers. Now, was he some sort of officer Viper that kept all his gear, or did he keep the gear and then change all of the colors on the gear? Has he like customized like the color on his own Viper gear, or was he some sort of like officer that was like slightly different deco to colors to the regular Vipers? I want to know. I want a comic to explain how he defected. I mean, come on, guys. Am I the only person that doesn't want to see some of the file card stuff and some of the backstory stuff explained in some sort of like one-shot special missions sort of scenario? How much fun would it be for them to do the kind of retcon of how Mercer defected from the Vipers and ended up on Joe? I think that would be freaking awesome. And yeah, like maybe it's a Viper training vest, Paul. Indeed. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, Scott's right. It would be an amazing comic, and I agree with you. It would be a great thing. He rejected Cobra, but kept the pants. Not exactly committed to the defection. Exactly. Rexship says Skybound Mercer miniseries for when he eventually becomes a Joe. Yeah, I mean that's obviously that is something slightly different, but still a very good point to make. There is a Mercer with backstory and history going on currently in the Skybound universe, but I'm talking specifically related to a real American hero, to the Sunbow, that kind of thing, to this particular character here. Maybe kind of given that, I don't know, it'd be fun, wouldn't it? It'd be so much fun. Joe says, can't afford Harmer to write the cards. Budget spent on retro AI art. I don't know. I think it's actually a lot cheaper what they went for, Joe. So they probably do have the extra money to do it. But yeah, I think that would be so awesome. Like these are the kind of things I want to see. I want to see a Hydro Viper selection process in comic form, like a like SEAL training or whatever, but you're kind of seeing how the Hydro Vipers get selected out of eels, the kind of horrible kind of experimentations they have to go through, and then like a mission they have to go on or something. I think that would be freaking amazing. Mercer being, kind of defecting from Cobra, even like, just stuff like that. There's loads. Sorry, I have loads of these in my head, and then I just go completely blank when I come to try and reel them off. Yeah, anyway. Eels selected for snow serpent training, Paul. Yeah, I mean, eels, it seems like eels are where Cobra goes for every other, like, Viper, doesn't it? It's hilarious. Punk with Toy says, did I notice that Sarge is on the heavy duty buck? It's different than his old one. Yes, I did notice that actually, because we noticed that I think when we started seeing the what do you call it? The kind of leaked images, the leaked kind of pre-production images. But yes, shout out to Punk with Toys. Hello, Lawrence. Hope you're having a good one, bud. Toxo Viper training, indeed, Paul. That would be great. Or Toxo Vipers and the Leaky Suit Brigade, and how they got the name the Leaky Suit Brigade would be a really good one to do, wouldn't it? An animated series that explains Mercer's defection. Tommy and Stalker and Snake Eyes at war. Show all these stuff we've never seen in cartoon. That would be sick. I agree, Couch Boy. That would be the dreamland, right? But I definitely think a comic for those things would be perfect. But you're right. Well, we've kind of had a comic for Snake Eyes, Tommy, and Stalker, haven't we? I think that makes a lot of sense for an animated series. All of those things you said do make sense. I like that a lot. Seriously hoping we see more special missions comics, says Maximum Warp. I agree. I'd love issues of characters we've never seen, but maybe were killed in action, like Shooter. Yes, pass. That would be really good, actually. Flaffle says, interview question. Whatever happened to the Dark Energon storyline-ish thing that was present with Night Force Cobra? Don't know. Like, a lot of things have sort of kind of shifted and changed a little bit. We're still getting Night Force stuff, effectively, aren't we? What was the last Night Force figure we got? Was it Falcon and Quarrel? Or was there another one? I know Shockwave might have been after that, or I don't remember. They've come out so often I can't even think. But yeah, I don't know. They kind of stopped doing the Energon kind of narrative after that first sort of wave with Mole Rats and Tunnel Rat and those kind of guys, didn't they? But yeah, I don't know. That is an interesting point. We need something to tie these bloody narratives together. Maybe a website if they ever did anything with it. McMurphy says Mercer showed up naked from the future looking for John Connor, and the first guy he beat up was a Viper, and he took his clothes. Perfect. Nice night for a walk. We need an animated series or two. Yes, we do. I want them to do I want to do an X-Men 97 thing and go back and do Sunbow, as well as something more, new and different and cool and vibey. I also want them to do a return to Sunbow. I think that'd be really, really fun. Major Blood Origin would be a great one shot. Yes, Cal, indeed. Anyway, okay, Crystal Ball, indeed. Yes, there's loads, isn't there? Beachhead and Quick Kick are coming up, so you might get an answer then. Maybe. I don't see any Dark Energon narratives there, though. But yeah, we don't know, do we? I didn't look at the bloody back of the box like I should have done. I failed so bad with that. I was so overwhelmed that day at Toy Fair with all of the reveals. When I saw Beachhead and Quick Kick, I wasn't surprised that Beachhead was in a 2-pack because we'd had that information, but I was surprised to see that the other person in the 2-pack was Quick Kick. That said, I was so overwhelmed, I couldn't even bring myself to turn the boxes around and have a look at them or take pictures. And we got to the end of the kind of our time in there, as we were kind of about to get shifted out. And I asked Lenny, I said, "Oh, do you mind if I take pictures of the back of the boxes?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And he was about to turn them around, and the security guy came over and said, "Oh, you guys have got to go now." And I was just like, no, because I just realized that I was about to see all of the backs of these boxes for the first time and get all of those cheeky homages, including Beachhead and Quick Kick 2-pack. And I completely failed you, and I apologize, and I will never forgive myself for that ever. Okay, but no cell shading for the Sunbow Joes. Okay, Sean, done. Repeater would be great with the Sarge's buck with new arms and secondaries. Agreed, Gomez. Agreed. Repeater would be phenomenal. Night Force Muskrat, says Flaffle. Yeah, just Muskrat in general as well. Joe says, has anyone read the Max Brooks G.I. Joe book? He rewrote a lot of backstories. Yes, and they were really good. That was Hearts and Minds, right? Really enjoyed that that series. But like I said, I want to see some kind of callbacks to the OGs and get back into those file cards and whatever. There are more images that I've completely forgotten about. Here's Mercer lifting a Viper up easily, because obviously they're all perfect, aren't they, the Renegades, and about to lug him into next week, or probably just on that pile of other Vipers. And there's the Sarge with a different hat on. How many hats has he had on so far? He's just had the cover so far, hasn't he? Yeah, just been the cover. He's had the different. He's got the head without the shades there. Then he's got the head with the sculpted whistle. There he's got the head with the sculpted whistle. He's got the regular head with the shades on now, no sculpted whistle. But he's still got the cover. Now he's got the other cover, okay, which is kind of cool and interesting. He is overdoing it with hats though. Chris says, ironically. And but no, I that shot actually, the two of them, I like how they both look there. I kind of like that the Sarge is very much different to what we've seen with the other Sarges. Like, you can do a very different Sarge here, and that's kind of good. I like that. Are Mercer shades leatherneck shooting glasses? Don't know actually. They did look like the same as the legacy police officer, the figure that should not be named right now. That obviously looked like they had both shared the same kind of yellow glass shades, but I don't know if they were the same as leathernecks. They might be, probably just redecoed. Dark Eon says, didn't Mercer kill a popular Joe in the new comics? Why would G.I. Joe take him in? Who knows how they're going to write that, dude? Who even knows if Mercer's going to be a Joe at this rate? I thought we would, like in the first 2 weeks of the Skybound series, Baroness would be back with Cobra and Mercer would be back with the Joes. And we're at like issue 8 now of the regular series, plus all the mini series that happened beforehand. We're talking 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 25 or 30 issues already in this universe, and we're still Baroness for the Joes, Mercer for Cobra. So who knows? Who knows? Not me. But the Sarge doesn't have a Stay Fresh cheese bags cover. Good point, Rachel. Flaffles just said the same thing. Basically, he needs a Stay Fresh cheese bags hat. He does. May have to change Sarge's hats once a week with how cool these look. I agree, actually, Twisted. It's lots of good options there. He only needs a leopard skin pillbox hat now, says Cal. That's true. He's got every other hat. Here's another one. Of course, he's rocking the beret here. Again, I think this is a little bit of a nod to his heel turn in the WWE, which is, again, it's a nice little homage. And again, another look for the Sarge, which is cool. The beauty part about this is we don't have to have, if you don't like one of them, you don't have to put it on him. You've got lots of options, and that's what we want here. We want options, and it's not really taking anything else out of this set, is it really? I mean, the amount of stuff they've packed into this is a bit bonkers, and it doesn't change however much the set is. What, the 2-pack's about $54.99? I can't remember. Something like that. Oh, that's another good point, isn't it? Still good on pricing, as in unchanged, which I'm still really surprised at, honestly. I wasn't expecting them to, the first, Fanstream of the month, to have what we've been expecting, and then the next week to be changed. Of course, I wasn't expecting that. But it's just nice that that's still happening. We're holding on to dear life to these price points, aren't we? $59.99. Sorry, apologies. What's $54.99 price point? Have I made that up? I recognize it. Is that a figure vehicle or something? Have I gone mad? Maybe they have bumped the price up and I just fell into that one. It was a $5 increase from the $54.99. Okay, yeah. So I fell into that one, didn't I? Hilariously. So this one went up. Why didn't I notice that? But the other ones have stayed the same. Interesting. Oh, it's the Sarge thing, isn't it? No, you're right. Sorry, I forgot about that. Sorry. You're right. The Sarge gets extra because of the Sarge license. I think that's a very good. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, guys. Okay, next then. Here we are. I think these are the last images of the Sarge. Just there's a few more with his regular cover on, and again, it's a good look. And that homage to that version of the Sarge, which I'm happy kind of exists now. That's awesome. Yeah. Pass says Snake Eyes, Dusty, Sarge, and soon Desert Scorpion. Any others? Desert ones. There's not a lot of desert ones, but you could probably argue as some of them are just kind of multi-purpose, aren't they? I've kind of got a desert. Oh, you could maybe throw the action soldier in there, the 60th anniversary action soldier, because that is very desert kind of coded. Certainly tan gear, isn't it? And maybe Grunt, because Grunt was and Doc, they were on the desert kind of background renders, weren't they? As in the box renders, not the promo images, because the promo images, maybe Grunt was in the desert, but Doc was in the street, wasn't he? With he was in that kind of street diorama. You know what I'm talking about, though. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, thank you, Eworthy. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you very much. Doc and Recondo could fit. Yeah, Recondo could fit. Like he's got the camouflage, he's got the gear. He's tan already, so that works. Caramel Snake Eyes. Yeah, it does feel like that, Leon. I like that Snake Eyes though. That desert one is wicked. Repeater and Spearhead says HoloNet 1. Yes, please. They would fit lovely in this desert scheme, wouldn't they? Anyway, there's the Sarge and Mercer 2-pack. Finally, and I've left this one to last because I am so happy at how this one turned out. A lot of people obviously were concerned about the Ore Striker, how it looked, the wheels, all this kind of stuff. I did share some of those concerns, I've got to admit, but at the same time, after seeing the roll bar off, man, it looks cool. What's really funny is you can actually see one without any roll bar or any roll cage at all in the background as well, which is funny. Speaking of background, looks like we've got another bridge layer. What are they trying to tell us? Have we got a snow decoed bridge layer coming at the end of the month for HasLab? Yeah, we have seen obviously the bridge layer a couple of times now. We saw it on the back of Blowtorch's box, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, I think we've got it on the back of that, and a bunch of like Valkyries, I think, running towards it, like shooting at it. And Blowtorch is looking the other direction at the the viewer, just burning stuff. Anyway, so bridge layer, interesting. I don't, a lot of people I think will jump to the conclusion, oh, we're getting a bridge layer, and I do see that a lot, and it's totally fine because honestly, I want to be that person too. When I see something in the background, I want to be like, oh, we're getting a stun, a triple T, General Hawk, all on the same figure, by the way. General Hawk, 91 version with the jetpack and everything, because that was all on General Hawk's box art, wasn't it? An HQ. Are we getting, this, that, and the other? I'm that person. I'm excited when I see those things in the background. But I'm also kind of looking at this going, well, if we are going to get a bridge layer, it'll probably be, well, obviously not this month, right? Not this year. Next year we'll be back on Cobra side. So we're looking at what, 27 for Joe again? What are we in? 25, yeah. 27 for Joe again. Maybe. I don't know. But we're probably not getting a bridge layer. But it's nice to see it on the back every now and again, isn't it? And the bridge layer is such a cool vehicle. It's such an awesome vehicle. A toss and cross figure 6-pack. Yes. Who wears a sweater vest in the desert? Crankcase does, New York Night 1974. And I will not have any Crankcase disparaging remarks on this channel. Brilliant. Yeah, we're not getting a bridge layer anytime soon. That's true. It could be a smaller version, says Derek. Do you mean like that big? I would genuinely would bloody love a bridge layer. Love it. What a tosser, Cal. Indeed. Anyway, let's get into the other things. In the background on the other side, I didn't even realize this was an option. Obviously, it must be, but the whole roll bar to come off. So it's just like it's just a free for all now. You can roll, if you're rolling that one over, you're done. But the sand's not going to help you. You're going to get mushed into the ground for sure. But interesting vibe, interesting look. Is anyone going to rock the roll barless Ore Striker look? Probably not, right? I'm going to go with the classic look, I think. Although the option again is kind of cool to have 3 figures in there, seated, and the roll cage is a nice addition. As you can see, we've got a tow hook on there too. Now, on these images, this is the bit that gets a bit confusing, isn't it? Now, you look at that image on the front of the box art, and it looks like the wheels are pretty much the same size, right? Could just be perspective. I understand how perspective works, guys, but it could be very much that it just has the vibe that they're the same size, right? Then you look at the back of the box here, and clearly the back's bigger than the front. Clearly. And then you look at some of the other images, like this one, and you see, yeah, okay, that's still tracking. Small wheels on the front, biggies on the back. And also, I like that little extra touch with the little kind of mouth and eye deco on the side. Very, very cool, that, I think. The side profile does look nice, actually, Rachel. Yeah. What throws me, I think, is the size of the front wheels and the size of those kind of like what they called the suspension kind of like sections, and of course the front, the kind of bonnet or the hood would probably need to be a little bit bigger for those particular wheels. But yeah, I think it's just the wheels that throw it off a little bit. But then, you know, this angle looks pretty dope. And again, I like the I do like the that little deco, the kind of like the tampos, the little mouth tampos there. That's very nice as well. Love the little back section, the kind of like on the back of the oar strike, you've got that little kind of step section where you can have more figures hanging on the back. That's really cool. This one can carry what, 3, 4, maybe 5, 2 at the back, 2 on the sides, 1 each on the side. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at a push. But you're probably comfortable 6, a bit of an uncomfortable 9. And then if you put someone on the front, like we've seen in Worlds Without End, you know, you've got the Worlds Without End uncomfortable 10, which sounds like a movie, doesn't it? I've just made up. Anyway, very, very dope. The other thing that I really like about this is the before we move on to the promo images, you can see it from a distance here. We'll see some of the promo images, but the little dashboard GPS thing, bloody awesome. I love that. Anyway, the promo images are off the scale. Love them. I will say though, I wish we'd seen more without the roll bar on the back and the seat. But again, this thing looks great. I'm really excited for this one. Like the wheels again look fine here. I like those extra kind of like bits of tread on them as well. Very chunky. I like them a lot. It does look a bit, yeah, actually, White. It does have a bit of Crossfire vibes. I have to admit, it's like if the Oar Striker and the Crossfire had a weird child. That's what you get right there. Very cool. And Crankcase is, yeah, lots of different options for Crankcase. You've got the visor and goggles, or just visor, or just goggles. You've got the helmet and face mask, or multiple other, you know, options. Absolutely crazy. No, we're not there yet, Paul. There's still a lot more images to go, including the Viper casualty pick. These shots again showing different options for Crankcase. I tell you what. I'll tell you now, Flaffle. This was Corey that did the images for these, not Shooting the Galaxy. So just I was told by Matt earlier today. He messaged me to say these are all Corey. So just so you know. But yeah, this is the best Crankcase has ever looked. Controversial. Since his first figure, in my opinion. That first Oar Striker Crankcase, brilliant. He looks like proper Normcore. You know, like he's got that vest, he's got a sweater vest. He looks like he's smart cash. And then he's got like, you know, the really old school sort of do and tash. And he's just proper 80s like normcore. If normcore existed in the 80s, he is normcore. He's like that, you know, you'd see a picture of, he looks like someone's dad from a picture of from the 60s or the 50s, yeah, from the 60s or the 70s or something. He's like that. Love it. But this is the best he's ever looked. There was a bit of I was going to say a little bit of a fumble in between vintage Crankcase and today, but you know, like he wasn't really nailed, Kitty said, by the design teams on some of the 4-inch crankcases, but definitely is getting his shine now, isn't he? Again, loads of options for display here, and I love that little GPS on the screen in the back. I think there's an even closer image. There you go. Look at that. I love all these other little bits. You've got the toolkit. You've got, like, the engine block panel can come off. Obviously, that you'd expect that in an ore striker. That is like pound for pound. Every ore striker that's ever existed needs to have an engine cover that comes off. Like it's just, there's just a lot going on here, and I really, really enjoy it. I'm here for it. Look, all the detail on the dashboard, and the little mic with the cord, and the little cup holders for the friggin' drink. How did I not see that before? Lenny even mentioned that on the last stream, and I wasn't looking out for it. And that's the first time I've seen the cup holders. That's the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. I love that. I love the fact that the steering wheel is very much like the original steering wheel. They're kind of missing the top and the bottom. Brilliant. Love it, man. Love it. 25th was a bit awful, wasn't it, Leon, for Crankcase? That is RAF Spitfire pilot goggles. It is Bjorn, isn't it? And I'm here for it. Anyway, love it. Be cool if they had tools in the toolkit, says Mark P. Well, we have got a wrench, a hammer that's probably small enough, a small hammer with the firefighter. We've got, what else have we got? We've got a couple of wrenches, different decos, and a hammer. So you could definitely, I think you could probably get them in, right? GL says, sorry if I missed it. Does that top rack come off if you want to make this look a little more OG? Yes. Yes, the roll cage that covers the seat on the back and the seat come off, and you can have a more classic looking ore striker. In fact, one of the images will show that in a second. In fact, the image on the left, I believe, is showing that. You're just not very well, but the entire roll bar cage has been removed there, so you can get a good look at the dashboard. And then we've got these shots here. Now you can see, there you go. There you can see it removed on the right there. No cage on the back. Look, very clear one. Again, they're not showing you the full shot though, which is interesting. But yes, it does come off. But my goodness, man, there's so much cool stuff to this. The ammo box, the machine gun on the top, the missile launchers. There's a lot of features, a lot of fun stuff, and I'm here for it. I love the Ore Striker. The Ore Striker is one of my favorite vehicles of all time. I loved it as a kid, and was, I pretty much, every Ore Striker that came out. Yep. It's just one of those things. It's one of the coolest vehicles. One of the most iconic for me personally. Did I say that Nick Cage on the back? I might have done. Hi, it's me. That mask is perfect for the Nox Storm Rider. Yes, it is, Cliff. They might probably reuse that if they ever do a Storm Rider. It'd be cool though, wouldn't it? Because you get like a motorcycle too. This is like the SAS Desert Rats and the Jeep. Yes, it is figure 6-pack. Crimson Guard is coming with a sledge, but that won't fit in the toolbox, says Scott. Cover Girl is coming with a sledge. Hammer. I thought you meant CG. When you said CG, I thought you meant Crimson Guard, but you mean Cover Girl, don't you? Wait till Gridiron gets a hold of this. That's a good point, Blitz. That will happen. Leon says, UK never had the Vamp, so this was default Jeep. Yes, basically. Mark thinks it's going to be the vehicle of the year. I don't know. It's up there for me. I'm very excited for this one because, there's another foot peg. Maybe you can get 12 people on this vehicle. Or maybe that's just for the other roll bar to attach to. I don't know. Anyway, I'm really excited. I love this showing off the winch, for good use for the winch. He's doing the, as I like to call it, the Dennis Nedry right here. If you guys understand what I'm talking about, he's getting the winch and he's gonna walk down there. He's gonna wrap it around a tree, and he's gonna try and pull his car out of the crap that he's got stuck in. And a Dilophosaurus is going to come and spit in his face. All right. Highly articulated. Hello, bud. Hello, Adam. I love that you can set it up in different configurations. As much as I like the gunner seat, I'm glad you can remove it and make it more like the vintage. Same, man. Options. Whoever designed it and took pictures might have been in the military with showing Crankcase doing his PMCSing, says Sean Fredericks. Corey did. I'm not sure if he was, but it's fun, isn't it? More people should be called Ore Striker. Yes, they should. Ore Striker is a character in American Pie. Oz Striker, Couch Boy. Yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. Paul says Jurassic Park. Yes, I did have low expectations for this vehicle, but it turned out better than I thought. Yeah, same. Well, actually, I didn't have low expectations. I just wanted it to be brilliant. Brilliant. Dinos are so rude. They are, Prophet. Right. Brilliant. These are great shots, by the way. I love that one of him on the walkie-talkie, on the communicator. Kind of like the vehicle's clearly stuck, and he's calling in for some assistance, isn't he? It's so good. Again, beautiful shots. This one shows as well, not just the fact that the tires turn left and right at the front, but they also kind of flex out. So you can have those kind of shots where it's kind of going over terrain and what have you. And that's a really cool vibe, honestly. I'm so excited to see how this works. If only they'd had a fan stream to explain all the details. If only there'd been a fan stream where they could have talked about this. Yeah? Yeah? No, Matt didn't shoot these. Matt messaged me. He said directly, these are all Corey. So, yeah, that's direct. I'll show you the message. It's not like private or anything. But oh goodness me, where am I going here? I'll come back to that. Actually, I'll talk about this first. So apparently, the tampo, you know, that kind of like tampo that was on the side that you can just about see in the bottom right hand corner, the middle, sorry, in the middle of the shot to the left hand side of the bottom middle, you can see that tampo, the eye and the mouth on the Ore Striker. Apparently they're swappable stickers, low tack, that can be removed. How about that for a bit of extra information? Cool, huh? So that'd be nice. I hope they do an unboxing for the Ore Striker. That'd be kind of fun, childish, like they did for the Vamp, yeah, and for every HasLab they've ever done. Anyway, can Bridge Layer be part of Chill for HasLab misdirection? It's a good point, actually, Couch. Someone said to me the other day, I think it was in a comment on maybe like I can't remember where it was, honestly, but it was on one of the socials. It was a message of some description or a comment, said that what if it's all a little bait and switch sort of thing, and the Chill and the oh god, I forgot what it was now, but it relates to something else. And the something else, I was like, oh, that's actually quite clever. But am I going to be able to find it now? Probably not, because of the a million other messages and comments and stuff that have happened since then. I'm going to try and find it though. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'll go in. So bear with me. No, I see. There's been too much that's happened. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to be able to remember this one. But they thought it was going to be some. They thought, could it be a bait and switch and be something completely different? And I think there's a possibility of that, but they usually are. It's usually like the most obvious answer, isn't it? Let's face it. It's usually the most obvious. You know, the murderer is someone that you knew. Your murderer is someone you knew the whole time. That kind of thing. Yeah, Havoc and Snowy Himalayas instead of Snowcat. Possible, right? But I wanted. There's something else in there that just kind of. It was really interesting. I was like, you know, that's not a bad shout. And I'm never going to find it. I might just keep trying to search and multitask at the same time. But you know I can't do that, so I'll keep moving. Anywho, I'll move on. Here is the shot that we were talking about a second ago, and it is, yeah, the Viper getting absolutely decimated, which is quite a funny touch. But there you go. I really want to find this comment though. It's never going to happen. Right. That shot of them running over the Viper is crazy. Definitely not based on cartoon. You got that right, Snow Wolf. You got that right. Anyway, the Ore Striker is amazing. and I am very happy in how it turned out. Now then, I think that's pretty much everything. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else though? That's the point. Was there anything else to talk about? I don't think so. So let's just move on to the usual. Now, you may have noticed some color changes. Yeah, a few color changes here. So obviously we've greened out some aspects that are now up as pre-orders, like the Horse Striker with Crankcase, Sergeant Slaughter and Mercer. We've also, and the Green Shirt Trooper and the Bat on the retro side. We've also, I thought, hey, let's put the Legacy Police Officer in a postponed different color, because it's not the same as inactive, it's postponed. So that's in blue, right? Kind of apt, I guess. So that is kind of how the listings look at the moment. That leaves two of those figures in that retail wave of 4, which I'm expecting later this year. Maybe SDCC, maybe a bit beyond that. Who knows? Probably SDCC though, right? Would you think? I don't know. It's hard to gauge now with the amount of changes and baits and switches and all that kind of stuff that's happened recently, and all the kind of it's been kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, it's been kind of crazy. Not the smoothest rollout ever. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's Ed Pool. It's Ed Pool. AFB Eddie. Shout out to Eddie. You talked about HasLab being Snowcat because of Frosty reference from Emily. This is genius, right? But just wondering, what if it's in reference to Cold, Slither, and is why their single is Thunder Machine to promote the HasLab? How genius if that is the case. Is that is a bait and switch. Anyway, Ed, I'm glad I found that. Massive shout out to Ed Paul, AFB Eddie, who commented that. And I did even respond to it. I think I said something like, that is some next level detective work. And if you're correct, I will broadcast this until the end of time. I would love that, by the way. So anyway, that is what I wanted to mention on that one. But as far as the listings go, like I said, it's just Mo and Mr. Burns on the retail wave of 4, which we can't bloody reveal until we get some sort of name only reveals. I'm hoping that something happens this week, and does next week become like reveals and name onlys as well as whatever else they have planned? I don't know, right? But yeah, I mean, obviously, let's face it. In regards to what Ed was saying in that little comment, in regards to the HasLab, it's almost certainly going to be the Snowcat, isn't it? I think we can all get that. Kind of makes sense. But you never know. You never know. The snow on the graphic kills that theory, says Jeremy. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it does. We all know what's going to happen. Scott says next week will be the Rattler unboxing, right? Well, that sounds like a good plan, doesn't it? That sounds like something that they probably should do. So that's something that I would expect. But I don't think anything has been fully, like, officially stated. I don't think they said anything on the live stream. They just said there's going to be weekly updates. We knew there was going to be a second fan stream, even though there wasn't a second fan stream. But I don't think there's going to be another fan stream. Although, having said that, the fact we haven't had a second fan stream, stop doing that, means that we might get that fan stream at some point next week or later in this week. Who knows? At this point, I up is down, down is up. Cats living with dogs. It's it's crazy. So I hope so. I hope there is a Rattler unboxing, because I think that would make a lot of sense. But I hope they throw in a few more name onlys, a few more render reveals, that sort of thing, because it's looking a bit sparse now on that list, by the way. Toy Bounty Hunter says, I say Arctic Mauler with interchangeable armor panels to make it tan. Do you know what? That would be amazing. They did say postponed pass. Yeah, I just don't know what that means for us. Does it mean till next week? Even though there was something planned for next week, I don't know what it means. Maybe we'll get something this week. Who knows? Who knows? Scott says, remember this Friday is the last day to change your address for the Rattler. Just FYI. Thank you for reminding everybody. Very much appreciated. Right. So going through the list again. So yeah, Mo and Mr. Burns will hopefully find out this month. Will unlock who they are on the old listings. As for Cartman 2-pack, we do know what that is, but we again we're waiting for name only reveals on that one. We don't know what Brooklyn 2-pack is. No one got a frigging clue, honestly, about that Walmart, but we know it's a 2-pack. Obviously, the Lexington 2-pack we know is Beachhead and Quick Kick now, but we have no idea about what the Brooklyn 2-pack is. Chairface, don't know. We just know it's a $44.99 price point. And Fanmazon, my theory on that is that it's going to be a Mad Marauders Mutton Junkyard based on price point, figure pet price point, and it's a Fanmazon, which makes a lot of sense if you're going to do a redeco of something we've had, not like super recently, but something we've had. I think that fits nicely there, but we don't know. We just know it's probably a figure and pet set based on the price point. SP Kyle we know but can't say. So again, very much hoping we get some sort of name or render to reveal that one. Fish Boy, not a frigging clue. I'm being totally transparent with you guys on this one. Not a sausage of a clue what that is going to be. Not a clue. Obviously, we know some aspects. We know it's a deluxe troop builder pack for Pulse exclusive at $34.99, but we don't know what it is at all. It could be Windmill, Paul. Could be anything at this rate. It could be Armadillo at this rate. The unknown vehicle, we are aware, but again, we can't say until that has been officially announced. And Ralph T is inactive, and we never knew what that was. So great. And then we have 2026, and at the moment we only have unlocked Johnny 2-pack, which is Taurus and Red Dog, and we've added the Steel Core Sentry with Defense Post because we know that it can't be the Sentry with the Defense Post can't be any of the 4 retail waves of 4, so that's none of them on the left, and we pretty much know what's coming on the right hand side. So, but it's none of them is all I can say on that one. But anyway. Possible Jarhead. Possible. Good point, that one. I think that's a good point, actually, you just made. Here's hoping it's Royal Guard, says Profit924. Oh, Royal Guard would be phenomenal, wouldn't it? Transporter 8 says it could be Wetsuit. What you mean in the... Blitz says, I'll accept a wetsuit in there somewhere. Yeah, me too, actually. That would be freaking awesome. Fish Boy, Hydro Viper says pass. I don't know if it's that going to be on the nose. I would, again... I'm telling you now, if there was a deluxe Hydro Viper, I'd be all over it. But maybe it would be a deluxe and not a figure pet, because maybe the pet would be too small to make to make it a price point for it. It would just be an accessory at that size, like Neol. Why I went with that one instead of Freedom, I'll never know. But like Freedom and Neol and the iguana that comes with Cobra Commander Battle. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's 2026 listings so far as we know. Now, the Steel Core Sentry with Defense Post could be for this year, at the end of the year, but it's not any of them either. So we don't quite know. And obviously, there are some that we don't know here, as I've just said, but we know what they are, and they can't be what that Sentry and Defense Post is, if that makes sense. Like, it can't be Fish Boy Deluxe. It can't be Chairface at $44.99 as a Fanmazon. It can't be the 2-pack for Walmart. It can't be that. So we know by theory of deduction that it's either going to be a 2026 listing that hasn't been unearthed yet, or it's going to be added to 2025, but we don't know. Am I late? Did they reveal the HasLab is the Snowcat? No, we don't know. They haven't revealed anything about the HasLab. That's going to be at the end of the month. Jedi Ben says, maybe since they opened the can of worms by releasing a slightly different Proton pack, can we now please get Tiger Rats and blue history paints minus the electronics? I certainly think that's probably going to happen, Jedi Ben. They've even said in the past that they would reuse the tooling for like a his tank or what have you. They've said things like that in the past, or they haven't ruled anything out, is effectively what they said at the end of the day. They couldn't say anything direct. I think they said they can't rule it out. But I have to say, I think that's on the cards. I mean, how could you do something like that and not reuse the tooling, even if it was like a thing with where you remove all of like the electronics and you just have like the basic kind of vehicle with the basic loadout and a figure. I know. But yeah, that's that. That's 2026. Hopefully we start unlocking some of those. But I mean, the fact that look at all that green. We're only in June. It's nuts, isn't it? Absolutely nuts. Anyway, that's the leak list in 2026. Okay, name only reveals. We're still at Steel Core Sentry, Defense Post, Taurus and Red Dog 2-pack, and Desert Scorpion with Scorpion. I was hoping to see some renders today that may have been these. That would have been kind of cool. But we go again. Maybe they'll do some social posts in the week. Who knows? Who knows? Not really me, honestly, as you can tell from today. And then, of course, digital renders. I've popped the Legacy Police Officer back in there, and of course the SDCC Cold Slither. Who knows? But that it's gone backwards. Even though we've got promo images, technically, it's gone backwards. So it's there now. It's still living in this digital render world. And I know that doesn't make any sense to a lot of you, but the process is name only, digital render, pre-order. And that's the process. And of course, it's not a pre-order, so I might even take it out anyway. Honestly, I did it because it filled out the space a bit more. SDCC Cold Silver looked a little bit, lonely. I did actually remove everything apart from SDCC Cold Slither, which is funny again because I know they've been revealed Cold Slither, but this is because they're not available technically yet. So they'll disappear when July comes around, obviously when SDCC is here. Right then, that's everything. I am exhausted. It's been a day, and somehow we got like an hour and a half out of that when we didn't really have all the other stuff to talk about. It was just the pre-orders. But I'm not going to complain. It's been it's one of those things where I just want to kind of relax now, decompress, and maybe enjoy some of the promo images that I've just had to rush out there and not actually really pore over. Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I want to say. I think we could in the future see a hooded Cobra Commander, based on one of the comments in the comments by Couchboy there. I think a hooded Cobra Commander could happen at some point in the future. I'm not going to rule that one out. I think there was definitely a mandate at some point because we heard it from multiple different sources, didn't we? Like actual official sources mentioned that well, you know what I'm saying. What was I talking about? It doesn't matter. I am knackered. It's game over. Yojoe June week 2 is done, sort of. Will there be more stuff this week? Possibly. And we'll be there to fumble along and see what's going on. Hopefully it'll be a bit smoother. Some of the next week, hopefully we'll get a little bit more video, a bit more fan stream. I hope so anyway. And in any case, I hope you enjoyed what we did get today with the Sergeant Mercer, the Ore Striker, Crankcase, the retro bat and the retro green shirt. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some more stuff to talk about very soon. Now, before I go, I'm just going to have a little message from our sponsor. Yes, you can get the Battle Action Force Treasury editions at Skeletron.com if you're in the US, and of course, TotalToyBooks.com if you're in the UK and Europe. Right then, thanks very much for joining me. I will see you guys on the next one. Who knows what that will be? Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 10 minutes' time. Who bloody knows? In any case, stay fresh cheese bags. And as always, after 3, I think you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.